What's good, YouTube? LCB on Faith coming with a deck profile. I play Vanguard of my Deletor deck for standard. I haven't played a lot of it yet, but I've been working through some kinks of it and I enjoy it. I like deleting the Vanguard, guys. Come on, who doesn't? Big cost when you play Grayon. I play 4 copies. You know, you should already know the skill. Count Blast 2. Delete the Vanguard. On hit, Soul Blast. You'll vanish delete their card, their rear guard. It's pretty good, you know. I suggest do it when they get to grade 3. I learned that the hard way, because if you stay on this card way too long, you're wasting Count Blast. Count Blast 2 all the time, it hurts. Can't get a lot of stuff off. Then I play 4 copies of Wave and Deletor Greydall. First skill is your opponent cannot move their rear guards to different rear guard circles. Second skill is the Count Blast 1. So Blast 1 delete and vanish delete a rear guard. And so far, I like the combination of just riding him first. Try to delete your Vanguard once with him. Then you're pretty much playing Kagurus. Keep riding Greydall. Makes everything a lot easier. And I'll tell you a certain way to just manage your Counter Blast with this guy, obviously. It's with your grade 1 Drown. Next, I'm going to go to grade 2s. You're going to be playing 4 copy of Swift Deletor. Alright, this card is really good. I like rushing with this card. Grade 2 game, ride him, or you can call him out rear guard. Ride him, call him a rear guard, doesn't matter, you know. Make your opponent choose whether or not he wants to let you draw if he has no cards on the field, or if he does have a card on the field, makes him want to guard if he wants that card and if it's an important card in your deck. You know, sorry I butchered that. Important card to his you know, game plan, how he wants to play. If you have more rear guards, you gain 4K on place. Then if the attack hits, if he doesn't have rear guards, you Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. If the attack hits and he has rear guards, you'll vanish delete that rear guard of your choosing. Alright, really good card. I suggest 4 of. No less than 4. If you do less than 4, 3. At least 3. No less than 3. Alright. Then I play 2 copies of and 2 copies of Alba. Reason for this is you do not want 4 and 4. Alright, they work together. That's why I'm showing you both. You don't want 4 and 4. If you do 3 and 3, I feel like it gets really cloggy. Because say you have, for example, 2 of these in hand, right? If you have 3, let's give you this. If you have 3, imagine you have 2 of these in hand, then only another one in drop zone. You're like wasting a card because he doesn't do nothing well with him. You know, he doesn't gain that 4K. Without him, he's just a vanilla 10K, you know. So I reduced the count to 2 and 2. He's really good though. I suggest to play him, you know. I'm thinking about bumping him down to 1 and 1, but that's totally different. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't do that, right? So the skills are, if you have Elro, this one on rear guard circle, this one gets 4K. If you have Alba on rear guard circle, this gets the on hit to Count Blast 1 and vanish delete a rear guard of your choosing. When you play him and you have Alba on in drop zone, you got the Soul Blast one and Superior Call him from drop zone. If you have him and he's in drop zone, he counter blasts one, which I honestly do not like. I wish they both was a Soul Blast, but you can't pick and choose your cards. You don't work for Bushi, you know. They're really good cards. No less than, I want to say just 2-ofs though. Both of them is the 2-ofs. I'll show you the other cards I run from my grade 2 lineup. Alright. I play 2 Givens. I should just probably 3. I have 4, but I'm only playing 2 at the moment. I'm thinking about bumping them up to 3. That's why I was considering bumping the 2 of them down to 1. So I got run more grade 2s that I'm testing out. Alright, but Given is really good. He's one of your key finishers. It helps you out a lot. Right? Helps you out when you know that your opponent, for example, alright, I was playing my best friend and he has 3 PGs in hand. He could block all 3 attacks. I dropped this down. My Vanguard has a crit. Then you drop him down. Obviously he's gonna block Van. He's gonna block rear. He's gonna block your other column, right? But then when you would stand your Vanguard, obviously, and he has a crit, he's not blocking this card, right? That's obvious. That's the normal. Everybody knows that one, right? But then, you know, to save himself, hopefully he gets a heal. You know, he took Vanguard first, he died. Alright, so pretty much his effect is at the end of this battle, after he battles, he gets the ability to choosing up to 6 cards, either from your field or hand, to ditch to restand your Vanguard, and he gets -1 drop check. Okay, he's really good, better than the old one. Don't have the counter blast cost. You get to, if you're playing premium, you get to restand your Vanguard, your stride Vanguard. You know, it's really good. Your opponent's deleted. Your opponent has to be deleted to do it though. So I should just 3. Right now I'm playing 2, so no less than 2, I guess, because he's a key card. You want to see him if you know you have to kill your opponent. You know. On to my next one. Alright, this one I'm testing out, and I feel that it's a brilliant card because your opponent is at 0 when you delete them, right? So it's Singularity Sniper, right? If you have more rear guards than your opponent, this unit gets 5k, right? Being that unit gets 5k, your opponent will have to drop a 20k shield on this one card. So that's 15. Your opponent's at 0, 20k shield. But then if you have a force marker on it, that's 25. He has to drop a 30k shield. It's really good. I should just get in these. Unfortunately, these are promos. If you have these promos, run it in the deck. I can see myself bumping this up to 3, but right now I'm playing 2. Right, that's why I consider dropping Alba and Elro to 1, so I can run 1 more copy of this one and probably 1 more copy of Given, right? But I'm not 100% sure because Alba and Elro is free cards to the field. Like, come on, everybody like free cards, right? Then I want to say these cards drop hands. I swear they drop hands. I had 2 force markers on both of these. That's 35k. And then I had a booster on one. I saw my opponent drop all his cards in his hand. It's really good. It's really good. If I would ever switch them out or run anything else, I would test this card, right? But I wouldn't 100% do it though, to be honest, because that's a counterblast, and your deck is kind of counterblast heavy already. All right, you see it when you play. You wasting counterblast basically on your rear guards, on your vanguard. Excuse me. That's all you want to waste your counterblast on, is on your vanguard. Next, I'm going to the gray ones. Playing 3 gates. Alright. People say you should run 4, but I feel like this card gets cloggy and you're wasting soul on cards that you could potentially. Alright, I think I stopped off at potentially, but people should run 4, but I'm playing an extra grade 1, which I consider probably valuable. Everybody gonna say it sucks, obviously, but I think it's valuable, right? So this card is Soul Blast 1. I always get this card mess up. I always mess it up, so I always have to say it out loud when I'm playing it, right? You Soul Blast 1. If your opponent, like, pretty much when placed, when your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, Soul Blast 1, you get the skill of checking top 2 cards of your deck. You choose one based off the grade of your opponent, right? So if you have your opponent at grade 3, right, you're going to Soul Blast 1, check top 2. You're calling a grade 3 or lower. If your opponent has a grade 2, you go on grade 2 or lower. Grade 1, same thing, right? And you get to call it. So this card is busted. Free call. But the thing is, I'm playing it at 3 because it gets cloggy, and I want to save my soul for like all my on hits, my extra calls. You know, there's just a lot of other things I could do, right? And I'm playing another card that also deals with Soul Blast, right? We soul charge due to our next card. I'll run 3 copies of Drown. Should run 4, but like I said, I'm playing another card in my grade 1 lineup, which I think is actually pretty good, in my opinion. You know, when you delete your Vanguard, it has to be on the field when you delete your Vanguard, right? So, for example, you could catch the timing on him when you're about to delete the Vanguard, because this is an axe skill. So you counterblast 2, delete, his skill activates, you get the soul charge, right? And he chooses any rear guard to vanish delete. In doing this, if you have no face up damages, you get to counter charge. Alright, if you do have a face up damage, you don't counter charge, which is kind of wonky, but I understand. You know, it'll be too broken if you're able to just soul charge, counter charge, kill a unit for, you know, that's basically free, you know. All right, if you have 2 of these on field, you can activate both skills, right? And if you have no face up damages, you could only counter charge once, right? But you still get the skill of vanish deleting their rear guards, two of your choosing, and it's really fun, you know. Should run 4, right? Should run 4, but I'm running 2 copies of another card, right? Then I play three copies of Gain. Well, let's be honest, I don't know. You know, like, to be honest, it's your choosing. You can run four of this, three of this, or four of this, three of this. You know, it's up to y'all, you know, but I butcher that. You can run 4, no less than 3, 4, no less than 3, 4, no less than 3. Legit. Alright. This card, really busted, you know. So, on attack, at the end about this unit attack the Vanguard, you get to retire it. You discard a card from your hand, draw a card, then vanish, delete a grade 1 or less rear guard. It's a really good card, you know. It fixes your hand. Say like if you opened up a hand with 2 grade 3s, decided to keep the grade 3s, that's up to you, I don't know. Then you draw into another grade 3, boy, drop this down turn 1 when you're about to attack, poke, then retire itself, discard the grade 3, draw a different card. It doesn't really matter. It's not like a plus because it's not replacing itself, it's replacing the card in your hand. If it was replacing itself, it will retire itself, then you pretty much draw a card, you know. That's replacing itself, but it's still good because it gets a card off the field and you're fixing your hand, you know, just fixing your hand, right? I'm playing three ofs, no less than 3. You can run it at max 4, you can run it at 3, no less than 3, because I consider this card valuable too in the deck, right? Then I'm running Embroiled Deletor, 2 copies, right? This is not the card I was talking about, but this card is essential to the deck because it's really broken. I don't care. I will waste the counterblast just to kill your whole column just for this card. So, for example, say it's a cheeky play, right? So pretty much it's on place counterblast when you kill a rear guard on your side of the board, your rear guard, then whatever column this card is in, you kill that column, their opponent column, sorry for mumbling, right? So on place, retire one of your rear guards and bind all of your opponent's units in the same column as this card. That's the skill, you know, face down. Obviously, you bind in the face down. That's vanish deleting. All right. So the play that I like to do is, say you already used this last turn, you end up having this card. This is like a dead card. It's not doing nothing for you no more. You play it into the column that, you know, they obviously rushed you in, and then pop their whole column. Boom, done. Or say you got this card, you went into using this skill, you got this off the skill, and they have a whole column. Like after the turn they rush you, I would use this skill, pop this off, kill that column of your choosing. That's just me. Or for example, I did something like this. I didn't think it was, to be honest, I don't think it's a good, you know, combination of cards, but I thought it was good, right? So pretty much I had my opponent rush me turn 2, pretty much call a full board, right? I'll play this down first. I'm playing excessive, trust me. It's like you're playing too many cards at once, right? This was in the drop, no, this was in the, yeah, play this one down first. You have these 2 cards in hand, right? You play this, you're killing this, you kill the column, then you play this, you call him back with a soul blast. Now you're rushing him. Yeah.
You mess up the washing machine?
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, you're rushing them back and, you know, taking advantage into your hand. Most likely some occasions I do have like 3 grade 3s. It doesn't matter. I mean, I say grade 3s, grade 2s. And this will be the board. You know, you're pretty much, you're not negging yourself cards on the board, because you killed this off. This comes into play. You bring this back, right? Then if they let this hit, you know, you have one more card in soul to get a draw off. It's no big deal. That's if they have no units on the board, you know. But continue on to the next one. My final grade 2 that I said that I play was Looting Deletor. Why do I run this card? Alright. The skill is Vanguard Rigor. When it attacks or attack, it hits boost, hits a Vanguard. You Soul Blast 1, return one of your other rear guards to your hand. So, when I heard this, I said, why would anybody run this card? I thought about it really hard. So when I was testing the deck without this card and playing all my other matches, I saw reasons why I would run it, you know, and I'm gonna tell you why. So for example, your opponent goes first, you go second. You get this into your hand, you play it down on the field, you draw your card from your starter, obviously, and then say you decide to rush him. Like you really decide to rush him, you know. I don't know, you could drop any one of your cards down. It doesn't really matter, you know. You could use the skill. I wouldn't advise you use the skill because you have one soul, right? So it gives your opponent an option to take the Vanguard hit or the rear guard hit. Doesn't really matter, right? So obviously you're attacking with your rear first. 8 to the van. Your opponent can either block it or take it. It's up to what your opponent chooses. Then you attack with the Vanguard. Most people always take the Vanguard hit. It depends. All depends, because since this is an on hit to bounce a card, they wouldn't want you to have that extra shield. So it's all up to them, you know. So you play this attack. They choose to block or take. Attack with this, block or take. If they take it, you Soul Blast 1 to bounce this card back to your hand. Easy like that. Done. I thought to myself, like, oh, that's a good play. You know, it gives your opponent a choice to, you know, because you want this on the field, but then it's like, okay, you wanted to rush him, you know, it backfires, it's whatever. But then I was thinking more deeply about it, and I said to myself, since I run 3 of this, the option to proc this skill on this is pretty good, you know. This is a waste, and then boom, you let it hit, you bounce this card back to your hand, you get to use it next turn. It's no big deal. Then I thought about it more. Say your hand got cloggy full of grade 3s, or say that you had to play a grade 3 on the field. You had this as a booster. You get to attack with this, then bounce this back if this column hits. You know, your Vanguard column hits. Like boom, you get the bounces back to your hand. There's no big deal. All right, next turn you get to ride it. Boom, fixes up everything you needed. Or let's get more in depth. These 2 cards, you get to call off the graveyards. No big deal, you know. So like, that's if you guys want to do it. It doesn't matter if you have to. I never did this. I think it's, to be honest, I don't think I would ever do it, but I thought about it for a bit. Was you pretty much calling these off each other. No big deal. Then say a turn comes where this column hit, your Vanguard column hits. Like after you attack, no big deal, right? You'll bounce one of these back. In this up, you call them again, you got to call the next one back. It's like you never, missed a card on your board. It's no big deal. That's my opinion of the deck. You could easily run the deck without this card, but I'm running it because of those options that I could do. My first Vanguard swings, if I decide to rush with the gray ones, the possibility of bouncing this card back into your hand is really good. The possibility of bouncing the grade 3 back to your hand if you needed it, if you played it off of this card, for example. If you had like a trigger and grade 3 on this effect, and you called the grade 3 because you want to call the trigger, and then you let the column this unit's in hit, bounce the grade 3 back to your hand so you can ride it for next turn. Using these as an example of letting whatever column this is in hit, bounce the next one up to bounce one of them back to your hand for the next turn, so you could call back this one if you decided to intercept with the other one, and then recall it back. I think it's a good play. What other examples I could think of? This, for example, you could even retreat your given if you decided to do a given turn. Right? Say turn you decided to kill your opponent with given, and then your opponent somehow magically heals or gets power to the Vanguard, and you see no reason to do it, and you want the card. You can always bounce this card, use this skill to bounce him back to your hand. Say you have it in this column, right, and they let this column hit, and you decide not to use his skill, but if you leave him on the board, your opponent's going to attack it, and you want to use it for next turn. Use this skill to bounce him back to your hand. It's no big deal. I like the card. And also for this skill too, if you really wanted to be field control based, a column that this card hit, you bounce this card back to your hand. Use it for next turn. It's up to you. Or you could just use it for shield value. It doesn't matter. Then onto your zeros. You got the starter, obviously. Your 4 PG. Draws. One more draw. Right? You could go off with 6 draws, 6 crit, but for me, I want to see the crit, so let me rephrase that. I run 5 draws. Due to the fact that the deck needs draw power, but you have no other way of plussing in your hand, to be honest. So I add an extra draw over the crit, because you could obviously run 4 draws, 8 crit. No big deal. But they need the draw power. Now, I don't want to see my hand go to 0 to 100 real quick with 6 draws. That's just me. So I run 5 draws because I want to see the crits. I want to kill my opponent earlier as possible, because late game, this deck tends to run out of counterblast, and that's the only way you get to delete your opponent. So you want to kill your opponent fast. So I run 7 crit, then 4 heals, because if you're not running 4 heals, you're not good. I'm sorry. And that's my deck. Obviously, force markers all day. Yeah, force marker. Yeah, gotta get the Ibuki. Ain't getting the Ibuki, you ain't really deleting nobody. Ooh, can't see that. Oh, there you go. Thanks for watching.